Hello, this is Jeff from Studio 41 Gaming, and I'm finally back with the next set of Pokemon reviews. As you may have seen, I have been dealing with an unfortunate death in the family recently, and hence why this set of reviews is a bit late. It's just been hard to really get into the mood to get these reviews done, but I'm pushing through it. We're finally moving on to Pokemon Black and White, and its direct follow-ups, Black and White 2. Now, Black and White came out back in 2011, and they brought with it a ton of new features that are new to the Pokemon franchise. Triple battles, rotation battles, a full-on seasonal system, and these games are bringing a lot to the table early. Packed with that, the new region of Unova, which is based off of New York City, specifically Celestia City, along with the Sky Arrow Bridge, which is supposed to represent the Brooklyn Bridge. It also is bringing 156 new Pokemon, with no Pokemon from older generations until you beat the Elite Four in Black and White. In Black 2 and White 2, though, they do have over 300 Pokemon that can be caught, along with tons of older Pokemon. Hell, in the first patches of grass, you can catch a Riolu. So you can have a Lucario really early in this game. I'm not a huge fan of some of these designs, though, that were new in Black and White. Some of these Pokemon, though, can be pretty freaking overpowered. Specifically Haxorus and Volcarona, who has one of the highest special attack stats Pokemon has ever seen. I am not a huge fan of Pokemon like Panpour, Pansear, and Pansage, which is just lazy reskins of each Pokemon. And then you have the infamous Vanillish and Trubbish, who are the most infamous Pokemon designs the series has ever seen. I am not a big fan of this choice in general, though, in Black and White, because it really alienates older fans who might give these games a try and wonder where the crap is your Pikachu and whatnot. It really alienated me, as I hated these designs when I initially started playing the game. The story, though, is the absolute biggest standout in Pokemon Black and White. It follows your character as he's trying to, of course, battle 8 gyms and become the Pokemon champion, but has to battle the Team Plasma along the way, which is trying to quote-unquote liberate Pokemon from their trainers. The biggest standout of this story is by far N, who is being used by his own father to really execute his father's plan. And he himself initially is going along with it, but then realizes that his father's wrong, and he ends up going and doing his own thing by the end of the game and turning his back on Team Plasma and his dad. Also, your friends Cheren and Bianca are both very well done as well. Cheren is basically he's kind of stoic and rigid, but he can be pretty funny at times, especially with Bianca, who is basically the complete opposite of that, and she's really spacey and really scatterbrained, if you want to really know how to put it. I do think, though, that the story in the originals is a bit better than in the sequels. In Black 2 and White 2, you don't really have the character development of the gym leaders and of your friends that you have in Black and White. And that's a really nice touch that I think makes Black and White stand head and toes above all other Pokemon games with its story. Gameplay between these two is basically exactly the same, though. It's obviously with the direct sequel, they're not going to be changing a whole lot. The sequels, though, do start on the western side of Unova and does feature several new areas that aren't in Black and White 1. You also do get, in the sequels, Cheren as the very first gym leader you battle. And you also get your first Pokemon from Bianca, as she's turned into a bit of a professor, if you would. The starters, though, are exactly the same between the two games, and I was really disappointed by that. I was never a huge fan of the original 3 starters from Black and White, but when the follow-up came out and they're exactly the same, I found that really stupid. And also, what is with me not getting any rods in Black and White until after I beat the Elite Four when I get the Super Rod? I have literally spent the better part of 4 years trying to figure out how that was a good idea, and I still cannot figure it out. Why would I not at least get the good rod? If you want to drop the old rod, okay, I'm fine with that. It makes sense, there's no Magikarp to catch, but why not at least give me the good rod around, like, when my Pokemon are level 20 or 30 so I can actually catch something that can learn Surf? Because getting a Pokemon to learn Surf is the biggest challenge in Black and White. Because unless you choose the Water Starter, you're going to have to get lucky and catch a Ducklet, which is hard to catch, or teach a freaking Lillipup Surf. And it's really freaking annoying. So I'm sorry about that, but I got that's something I've always wanted to talk about if I ever reviewed these games. One of my biggest grievances is why I do not get a rod. But one really nice touch that can be done in Black 2 and White 2 is that you can catch N's Pokemon in certain areas. And that's a really cool touch because it gives him a bit more character development of how he released all of his Pokemon because he felt, I think it's because he felt like he failed them or that he was using them to do bad things with Team Plasma. And also the graphics are very nice in both of these games with lots of detail and like wind movement, and there's a lot of things moving on screen. And it really gives a nice sense of depth and whatnot with the new 3D that was done in these games. And the seasonal system looks very good, as basically each new area has basically 4 states, and you don't get like any frame drops or anything. It's very smooth. Looking back on these games though, I think I may have been a bit too hard on them back in the day when I first got them. Now I actually did like Black 2 and White 2 for the most part, but Black and White, I hated these games when they first came out. And while I'm still not a huge fan of some of the Pokemon designs, which is my biggest grievance, the story and character development just really pushes it ahead of anything else that Pokemon has really done in terms of character development and story. Black and White are also some of the longest games in the series, if not the longest, but you definitely won't notice until late in the game when you're battling the champion Alder with your Pokemon that are like level 60 to 70. And that's naturally trained. You will have very high level Pokemon by the time this game is over. Overall though, I definitely recommend these games. Definitely at least try them if you can get them, borrow them from someone, or get them for cheap.